Hello, welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be my January and February wrap-up. I decided to put both of the months together since I didn't read that much in February, and in January I read I think 6 books, so I thought that it would be a great idea to do both months in one video so you can get more books. I'm gonna talk about them in order of like how I read them. Let's just get right into it. The first book that I read in January is Baggage Claim by Juliana Smith. I gave this 4.25. This is a holiday romance and I loved it. It was so fun. I liked the plot of it. I thought that it was really interesting and it was a very quick read. It's fake dating, reverse Grand sunshine, and guy falls first. And I loved the whole vibes of it. It was very like, you know, taking place in like a snowy, I don't remember exactly the place, but you know, it was like a mountain, very snowy. Loved the vibes, especially for January. So our two main characters meet in the airplane and he is trying to be really like funny and all of that, and she's just not having it. She's like, leave me alone. So eventually they get to talking and she's like, you know what, like I don't want to go home because first of all, I have told my family that I have a boyfriend, which I do not. And secondly, I have been avoiding it for years. And he's like, okay, I can be your fake boyfriend. And she's like, no. And they end up fake dating and it's incredible. I loved it. I loved the romance. I loved everything about them. He is so good. He's such a great main character. I will say, check trigger warnings because it have like a subject that I feel like it would trigger some people. That was the first read of the year actually, and we started the year with a bang. The next book that I read was Tempt by Melanie Harlow. I give this 3 stars, so we started the year with a bang and then we fell. This is age gap romance. It's ex-boyfriend's dad. It's forbidden, and also it has a plus size main female character, which is something that I love, and I definitely want to read more books like that. But this book wasn't great. This is the second book that I'm reading for Melanie Harlow, and I don't think that it's an author for me, which is so sad because she has so many interesting books. But I have read Irresistible from her and Tempt, and I gave both of them 3 stars. They both had potential, but they were just bad. I do not like them. I don't love the writing. I feel like the pacing is very bad, and I don't know. With this book, the thing that annoyed me the most was the fact that they would say, oh, you know, we should stop this. We should not like continue meeting up or texting or calling each other. And then the next chapter, they are meeting up and texting or calling each other, which is, you know, it's okay if it happens once. It's okay if it happens twice, but that's basically the majority of the book. That's the majority of the book. And I'm like, what was the reason? It wasn't for me. I don't think that I'm gonna read any other Melanie Harlow books. The next book that I read is a physical book. I know, surprising. It's Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. So good. I love this. It's young adult. I give it 4.5 stars. It was so good. The only reason why it didn't get 5 stars for me, it's because the main character Liz was kind of annoying at certain points, and that's just kind of ruined the book a tiny bit, but I still loved it. I still flew through it. I still want to read the second book that is coming out 2024, and I still recommend it. I loved it. I annotated so much. I really enjoyed it. The next book is again a physical book. I know, I'm very surprised myself. We have a thriller. This is Win, Lose, Kill, Die by Cynthia Murphy, and it's so good. This is 4 stars. I loved it. It's a young adult thriller, and I would highly recommend it for anyone who's trying to get into thrillers and trying to find a thriller that is fast-paced. It's really gripping. I definitely recommend this one. It was so good. I read it so fast. I just could not put it down. I loved the writing, and I definitely want to read more from this character. This takes place in Modern Academy, where it's like an elite academy, I guess, for very smart students. And someone is murdering students and trying to get to the top. And throughout this book, different murders happen, and you are trying to figure out who is doing it. and it was so interesting. I will say the plot twist at the end was not 100% surprising to me, but I still loved it. I still was like shocked. The next book is my first 5-star read of the year, and it's Mile High by Lee Stomford. This book, oh my god, I cannot say enough good things about this book. I love it with all of my heart. We have Stevie and Xander's, and basically Stevie is like a flight attendant at the plane that Xander's team like uses. And you know, they start off on the wrong foot, but they end up obviously falling in love, and it's so good. This is a hockey romance. We have enemies to lovers, it's forced proximity, reformed player, so many great tropes. But my favorite thing about this book is that the main girl character, Stevie, she's plus sized, and how the author wrote that, how the author wrote her insecurities and her thoughts, I kind of related to that like a lot. And the mental health representation in this book is incredible, both for Stevie and Xander's. And even if you couldn't relate, the author wrote it so amazingly that you really understood what the character was going through and what other people that deal with that are going through. So you know when you read like a really good book and then you get scared to pick up anything else because you're like, nothing is gonna come even close to that? Yeah, that was me with Mile High. But I decided to pick up Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren because I have heard so many great things about it. I had not heard a single person say anything bad about this. So I was like, this for sure is gonna be like a 5 to 4-star read. Yeah, it wasn't. I gave it 2 stars. I was so disappointed. Here's the thing. I would have given it 4 stars if the ending was different. The ending is what ruined this book for me. Even like if you look at my annotations, you can see that by the end I was like so disappointed that I was like, I'm not gonna spend tabs on this. Whereas like the rest of the book was incredible. I loved it. The ending did not make any sense for me, and that's so sad because you read this whole book and you're like waiting for the end, because that's the whole reason why they haven't spoken for years, right? Yeah, I read it and I was so disappointed. Her side was not making any sense to me. It's not like, I cannot understand it. And his side was traumatic, if I'm being honest. I don't like how the authors wrote that. There's 2 ways to take it. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you want to, you can search it up on Goodreads. If you read the 1 or 2 star reviews, you're probably gonna find what I'm talking about. There's 2 ways to see his side, and I don't like any of them. And more importantly, I don't like how the authors wrote it and kind of dismissed it. Like, they are like, okay, this happened, and then they are making up and they're like in love and happy, and I'm like, what? The ending was so rushed. I did not like it. For me, this book is not worth the hype, but if you have read it and you loved it, I am so happy for you. But for me, it's just, this is not it. Those were all the books that I read in January, and now we're gonna move on to February. I only read 4 books in February because I was in a reading slump towards the end of the month, which is so sad. But 4 is still a great number, you know? So the first book that I read was Fair Catch by Candy Steiner. I gave this 3.75. It was very enjoyable. I liked the writing, but what ruined this book for me was the football talk. It was so much. I did not understand it because I'm not like into sports, and especially American football. Like, I live in Europe. It was kind of boring. I was kind of skimming through those parts. But I don't know, there was something about the 2 main characters that I didn't 100% care if they would end up together or what would happen with them. Now, that being said, I did love the writing, and the writing was something that kept me interested and kept me reading, which is something that I love. And I definitely want to read more Candy Steiner books because I do think that she has the potential to be one of my favorite authors. Then I read The Right Move by Lee Stomford. This is the second book in the Windy City series. The first book is Mile High that I talked about, and the second book is The Right Move. The third book, I don't remember when it's coming out, but I cannot wait. I gave this book 4.5. I prefer Mile High, but I feel like that has to do with the tropes that are in. But I still loved it. I still like flew through it. I love the characters. Again, I love the writing. It's fake dating. It's roommates to lovers, it's best friend's brother. It's so good. It's found family. You get like characters from the first book and you really see the found family forming, and I love that so much. The next book that I read was Indigo Ridge by Devney Perry. I gave this 4 stars. This is small town, it's failed one night stand, I guess, and it has like a mystery subplot which I really liked. The problem with this book for me was the fact that the romance felt kind of boring. If there wasn't like the mystery subplot, I do think that I would have been bored. But because of the mystery, you really just flew through the book. And I love the writing, so I do think that the rest of the books are gonna be more for me. But it's just, the romance wasn't incredible for me. It was very slow, it was very like gradual, which if you love that's great. But I was more invested in the mystery subplot than the romance, which is the main plot. And that was kind of like the problem. But I did love the writing, so I do want to read the rest of the series and see my opinion. The last book that we're gonna talk about, which is the last book that I read in February, obviously, it's Blind Side by Candice Steiner. This is the second book in the Red Zone Rivals series. The first book is Fair Catch. This is obviously a sports romance. It's fake dating. We have some spicy lessons, which was incredible. They were so good. I loved them. So we have Clay, who is trying to get back with his ex, and then we have Gianna, who is very shy and is trying to make this guy like her. So they end up fake dating and they create this friendship through that, and then, you know, things progress. I loved it. It was so good. I love the writing. Like I said, Candice Steiner has great writing. It was so fun. I could not stop smiling while reading it, and I literally thought that it would be a 5-star read, but the ending was kind of rushed for me and wasn't kind of perfect. I feel like the third act breakup was kind of a miss for me. I didn't necessarily love it. For that reason, it was a 4.5 and not a 5-star, but still recommended, still loved it, and it's still definitely one of my favorite books, even if it's not a 5-star read. That's all I had to say. Those were all the books that I read in January and February. I am so happy that I read so many incredible books that I truly love. And I'm hoping that I'm gonna read even more in March. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to. Let me know your favorite book of the year so far. I'm curious to see if I have read it or not. Thank you for watching. I hope that I will see you in my next video. Bye!